2020 has derailed the movie industry a little bit. Plenty of flicks meant to be dropped this year have been pushed back to later months or all the way into 2021. This sucks, yes, but also allows us to savor the anticipation even more, to dream of the destruction that monsters may bring. So to keep us on track here, we've cooked up a list of some of the fiercest and freakiest upcoming monster movies. While watching, try not to think too hard about the fact that a lot of these were supposed to be in theaters already. I'm not crying, you are. Hello horror heads, and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host, Keegan Hughes, and today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 scary upcoming monster movies. If monsters are your jam, make sure to check out our top 5 scary creatures playlist. And if you're looking to get scared, maybe consider checking out the brand new channel Top 10 Central Dark. We'll see Lucy and Joss reacting to the scariest videos going.
I don't know. I don't trust.
What is he looking at? What is, okay, what is I've never been more scared of a squirrel in my life.
It feels like my heart's gonna explode.
Wicked. Let's get started. Coming in at number 5, we've got Morbius, the living vampire. Originally a Spider-Man villain, Dr. Michael Morbius took on a life of his very own in an original comic series. Now this bloodthirsty anti-hero is getting a chance at big screen success. After his Joker fell a little flat, Jared Leto is taking on another comic book role. The good doctor has been living with a blood disease that makes living an absolute nightmare. He's determined to find a cure for this or die trying. This leads him to a cave in the middle of nowhere filled with rare vampire bats. He willingly gives his blood to them, magically turning him into a strange half-man, half-vampire. Morbius isn't totally mythical, but he's definitely not normal either. With this partial vampirism, he gains all sorts of powers. He's supernaturally fast, strong, and resilient, can echolocate, and of course is always looking for a tall drink of blood. Put together by Sony, this is an interesting addition to the Marvel Universe. See, Sony still owns the rights to a lot of Marvel characters, but works together with Marvel in order to tie things together. After the success of the latest live-action Spider-Man movies and the irreverent Venom, it'll be interesting to see how they make Morbius work. We had to wait forever to get the New Mutants, so horror superheroes have yet to be truly tested. An R-rated gruesome vampire flick might be just what the Doctor ordered in a world full of pretty tame Marvel outings. Hopefully they focus more on suspense and tension and less on big crazy action sequences, but I guess we all know what we're getting with this one. Originally set to release in 2020, Morbius was pushed back to March 19th, 2021. Let's see if this vampire can hold a cross to blade. High hopes. Coming in at number 4, A Quiet Place Part 2. The follow-up to John Krasinski's breakout directorial debut will be a measuring stick movie for sure. People want to know if he can keep the good times rolling. A Quiet Place kind of caught people off guard with how wildly popular it was. Who knew that Jim from The Office could direct horror? But it seemed to come at the perfect time and introduced audiences to a fresh new story with some interesting monsters. A gimmicky movie for sure, but an effective one. In the end, we didn't really learn all that much about the monsters or the world they exist in. How is the rest of society doing right now? Are there other people out there? Where did these things come from? All questions people are hoping to get answers to with A Quiet Place Part 2. Folks are gonna have to do without the dad character as well because, well, you know. But I'm sure Krasinski will show up in some flashback sequences for all the Dunder Mifflin heads out there. From the trailers we've seen, it appears that they're taking the Walking Dead route. People are actually scarier than monsters. True enough. So we'll get a brand new cast of characters striving for survival in a world now dominated by beasts with extremely sensitive hearing. I'm excited to see how they work within the world. Will folks have proper anti-monster measures set up? Will some people be hunting these things? How bad is it, really? Only time will tell. Originally set to be released in March, folks eagerly awaiting this sequel will now have to hold out until September 4th. Krasinski says it's a movie folks should all see together, which really doesn't mean all that much coming from a director with profits on the line, but hey. Coming in at number 3, we've got Ghostbusters Afterlife. It's been a while since we talked about this flick. I think it was featured in one of the very first videos I worked on. Time flies, eh? Hopefully nobody gets mad because Ghostbusters isn't actually scary. Well, it's still up in the air as to when we'll be able to see it. But there are a lot of reasons to be excited. I think the biggest selling point for this movie is that maybe, just maybe, the internet will finally shut up about the last Ghostbusters. But that's just a pipe dream, isn't it? Oh well. Still, there is lots to anticipate about the actual movie. Afterlife feels like a passing of the torch. The trailers we've seen are jam-packed with Easter egg callbacks to the original flicks, or should I say, proton-packed. Sorry everyone. But it has indeed been confirmed that Afterlife ties directly in with the originals, meaning that the fans of the 80s can finally rest easy. We might even see glimpses of Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver, but the nostalgic aspect is only part of it. Although we haven't seen much yet, you've got to know that a new Ghostbusters is going to feature some new wicked ghosts. Whatever's brewing under this rural town is ready to burst forth and throw some crazy phantoms all over the place. Can they ever reach the iconic heights of Slimer and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? Well, there's only one way to find out. It's been pushed back to March 5th, 2021, so thinking really hard about it is all you can do for now. Coming in at number 2, we've got Dark Harvest. Oh, now this one looks fun. Not much has been released about it yet, but we do know that it's based on the novel of the same title by Norman Partridge. The story is one of Halloween dreams come true, or nightmares, I suppose. Set in 1963, we're dropped into the American Midwest around Halloween. Every year, the good folks of the town send their young men to fight a terrible fight. In a rite of passage / sacrificial ritual, these teens must face off against Sawtooth Jack, a gigantic pumpkin-headed monster that rises up amidst the cornfields. Hell yeah. Whoever takes the beast down wins the October prize, which consists of a new car, no bills, and the town essentially treating you as royalty for a year. A worthy reward, don't you think? This promises to be a blast and a half on premise alone. Horror movies don't focus on Halloween itself enough these days. I want more jack-o'-lantern creatures, more costumes, candy, and pageantry. It's all in the spirit of the season. I like the fact that MGM is taking a risk on a relatively unknown IP for this one too. You might not have noticed, but all of the previous entries on this list are surefire moneymakers, whether it's thanks to being a sequel, a reboot, or a Marvel movie. Dark Harvest coming out of the blue means that there's a chance it'll be totally insane in its own special way. And if that doesn't get you excited for a Halloween monster movie, I don't know what will. Dark Harvest hasn't been pushed back yet, but its initial release date is in September of 2021, so we'll keep an eye on it. Coming in at number 1, we've got Antlers. Man, this one was supposed to come out in April, but then it got totally removed from the release schedule, which is an absolute travesty. This looked like the horror movie this year. Produced by Guillermo del Toro, based on a story by Nick Antosca, directed by Scott Cooper, Antlers should be everything folks are looking for in a new spooky experience. It features a small town with a terrible secret. Hot start. See, there's a teacher who feels bad for a young student. The kid seems to be malnourished and abused. He's got no clean clothes and goes home to a rundown shack of a house every day. As she looks a little deeper into the kid's life, she discovers that he's connected in some way to a monster. Whether he's making it up is questionable, but as more and more strange deaths occur around town, it becomes apparent that there's something sinister going on. Man, this movie has potential. For now though, we've got to wait until February. In the meantime, check out the scary story it's based on and start to imagine how they'll render the monster. You can read it for free online, and I'll drop a link in the description. You might recognize the author, Nick Antosca, as the man behind Channel Zero, the best horror anthology TV show in years. Sorry, Creep Show, your nostalgic qualities can only get you so far. But yeah, with such a strong team behind it, Antlers should be a blast and a half. Let's hope it makes it to our screens in some way, shape, or form. So, did you mark your calendars? Good. Now let's see if studios can stick to this release schedule, or if they cave and put everything out on video on demand. All the delays aren't necessarily because they want people to experience it on the big screen. It's likely a money thing, but there really is nothing like seeing a flick at the theater, especially one with a gigantic monster. So, what'd you think of the list? Are you excited for any of these? What movie are you most looking forward to? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more integral ones. Me top 5 scary vampires spotted at 3 a.m. Jexer says, living next to a bayou, I have to deal with hundreds of ruthless blood drinkers every night. We call them mosquitoes. See, at first I was picturing you fighting hundreds of vampires on a nightly basis, which I think would be much cooler. Michael Whitehead says, since vampires are hurt by holy water, I always wondered why priests don't bless storm clouds and kill them from above. Then I realized why most vampires live in Europe. Someone already blessed the rains down in Africa. Man, all that set up for a Toto joke? I respect the commitment, but I resent the results. Stéphane Labossière says, the Carter Brothers sounds like a good horror movie to me. Honestly, I'm surprised nobody's tried to pen that screenplay yet. Sean Steele says it's always 3 a.m. somewhere. Hashtag 3 a.m. is forever. Hashtag always spooky. That's like the worst possible version of Happy Hour. I wanted half-price drinks, not a bunch of corpses. Immortal Immoral says, I think that vampire husband came to his wife for some post-death nookie. Maybe he squashed it because he couldn't perform and felt discouraged. That might be the most upsetting possible interpretation of the story, but I'll still share it with the world. And that's all the time we have for today. Before I take a trip to Italy as a 50-something balding man with rheumatism and a taste for almonds, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more mega monsters. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. He willingly gives his blood to them, magically turning him into a and see glimpses of Bill Murray in Sigourney Weep. Features a small town with a terrible. Ooh.